It is Tuesday, 5:15 p.m., rush hour in Los Angeles, and the 405 freeway is a river of red taillights. You are low on gas, the warning light is blinking, so you pull into a Chevron station on the corner. You slide your card, select regular, and squeeze the handle, expecting the familiar hum of the pump. Instead, the machine makes a hollow gurgling sound, and the digital display flashes a message. Out of service. You look around and see the station attendant running out of the kiosk, putting yellow bags over the nozzles. He shouts to the angry line of drivers, "The tanks are empty! The delivery didn't come!" This is not a local shortage. This is the beginning of the dry tank scenario, a global energy cardiac arrest. In this simulation, we explore what happens when a coordinated cyber-kinetic attack destroys the control systems of the top 20 US oil refineries. To understand the severity, you must realize that crude oil is useless until it is boiled and separated. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve has millions of barrels of crude oil, but without refineries, you cannot put it in your car. Let's enter this collapse through the eyes of Jason, a senior operations manager at the massive Port Arthur refinery in Texas. At 5:30 p.m., Jason watches as the distributed control system that manages the pressure valves goes rogue. The safety protocols are overridden remotely, causing the distillation towers to overheat and rupture explosively. Jason hits the manual emergency shutdown, creating a hard stop that freezes the complex machinery instantly. The pipes clog with cooling asphalt, turning the refinery into a billion-dollar paperweight that will take months to fix. Usually, the US has about 25 days of gasoline in storage, but that assumes normal buying behavior. Panic is the variable that breaks the math. When people think gas is running out, they buy everything. By 8:00 p.m., the news of the refinery fires spreads, triggering the great run on the pumps. Every car owner in America rushes to the nearest station to top off their tank and fill jerry cans. The 25-day supply is drained in 48 hours by hoarding, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of scarcity. By day 3, the gas lines return. But they make the 1970s oil crisis look like a minor inconvenience. Lines stretch for 3 miles. People are sleeping in their cars, pushing them when they run out of fuel in the queue. Fights break out at the pumps. Station owners hire armed guards to prevent people from stealing fuel. The price of a gallon of gas hits $10, then $15, then simply becomes not for sale at any price. You are stuck at home. Your car has a quarter tank left. You realize you can never drive it again. You save that quarter tank for a life-or-death emergency, looking at your vehicle as a static storage unit. By day 7, the last mile of the logistics network snaps because delivery trucks run on diesel. Amazon, FedEx, and UPS suspend all operations indefinitely because they cannot refuel their fleets. The grocery stores stop receiving daily shipments. Fresh produce rots in distribution centers that trucks can't reach. We realize that just-in-time delivery is essentially just-in-time gasoline, and the clock has stopped. Jason is still at the refinery, working 20-hour shifts with a crew trying to manually clean the coked pipes. He knows the terrifying truth. Refining is a continuous process. Restarting a cold refinery is dangerous and slow. The chemicals required to refine oil, catalysts like platinum and sulfuric acid, are also delivered by truck. No trucks means no catalysts. No catalysts means no refining. It is a logistics death loop. By day 14, the crisis hits the emergency services, creating a first responder blackout. Police cars, ambulances, and fire trucks run on fuel. They have priority access, but the municipal tanks are dry. You call 911 because of a home invasion, but the operator tells you no officers are available to drive to you. Police resort to bicycles and horses, shrinking their patrol radius from the whole city to just a few blocks. Firefighters watch helplessly as houses burn because they cannot drive the heavy tanker trucks to the scene. The social contract begins to fray when the government loses the physical ability to project force. By month 1, the grid wobble begins, because the energy sector is an interconnected web. Coal trains that feed power plants run on diesel. Repair trucks that fix power lines run on diesel. When a storm knocks out a power line in your neighborhood, The utility truck doesn't come because it has no fuel. Parts of the electrical grid go dark and stay dark, creating a patchwork of power outages across the nation. The economy physically stops moving. The GDP drops by 40% in a single month as commuting becomes impossible. Work from home becomes the only work. If your job requires your physical presence, you are unemployed. The suburbs, designed entirely around the automobile, become prisons for millions of families. You cannot walk to the grocery store because it is 5 miles away. You are trapped in a food desert. Bicycles become the most valuable object in America. The price of a used bike hits $2,000. People are welding carts to bicycles to haul water and wood, reinventing the rickshaw for the 21st century. By month 3, the petrochemical famine reveals the hidden layer of oil dependency, plastic, and medicine. Oil is not just fuel, it is the feedstock for plastics, aspirin, heart valves, and sterile medical packaging. Hospitals run out of IV bags, syringes, and gloves because the factories that make them have no raw materials. Jason gets a cut on his hand at the refinery. It gets infected because there is no antibiotic ointment, petroleum jelly base. The lubricant crisis is the silent killer of the industrial world that nobody talks about. Every machine with moving parts, from wind turbines to water pumps, needs oil and grease to function. Without new engine oil, the remaining trucks and tractors begin to seize up, their engines fusing into scrap metal. The industrial capacity of the nation grinds to a literal halt as friction destroys the machinery. By month 6, the agricultural sector faces a total collapse known as the diesel famine. Modern farming is 100% dependent on diesel tractors to plant, spray, and harvest the crops. Farmers try to use horses, but there are only 9 million horses in the US, not nearly enough to plow the fields. Millions of acres of crops are left to rot in the fields because there is no fuel to run the combines. Food prices skyrocket to levels that cause starvation in the cities. A loaf of bread costs a day's labor. The government creates rail corridors, prioritizing the few trains running on reserves to move grain to starving cities. Jason looks out over the silent refinery. The smokestacks are clear, the air is clean, but the silence is terrifying. He realizes that the oil age wasn't just about pollution, it was about energy density. A gallon of gas contains the energy equivalent of 500 hours of human labor. Without it, we have to perform that labor ourselves, and our bodies are not strong enough to run a civilization. By year 1, the geography of the United States has fundamentally changed. The outer suburbs are abandoned, people have migrated to city centers or rural farms to be close to food. The commuter culture is dead. You live where you work, or you don't work. Cities become smaller, denser, and quieter, resembling European cities from the 19th century. The interstate highway system is empty, reclaimed by nature, used only by occasional military convoys or horse caravans. Weeds grow through the cracks in the asphalt of Route 66, erasing the symbol of American freedom. The geopolitical power of the US evaporates because the military machine runs entirely on JP-8 jet fuel and diesel. Aircraft carriers are docked, tanks are parked in rows, the superpower is grounded and defenseless. The twist in this simulation is that the green transition fails because we needed oil to build the green infrastructure. You cannot build wind turbines or solar panels without diesel-powered mining trucks and cargo ships. The electric cars are useless because the tires are made of oil, the asphalt they drive on is oil, and the grid is unstable. We are stuck in a low-energy trap, unable to rebuild the complex systems that gave us our high standard of living. Jason finally manages to restart one distillation unit, producing a trickle of black gold. But this fuel is not for cars. It is strictly for the military and the government to maintain order. The average citizen has entered the muscle age, where every calorie of energy comes from physical effort. We are healthier, thinner, and more connected to our local communities, but we are exhausted. We spend our days hauling water, chopping wood, and walking, leaving no time for art, science, or leisure. The standard of living has regressed 100 years, proving that oil was the magic potion that bought us time. So, walk out to your driveway and look at your car. It is a 4,000-pound sculpture of steel and glass. Without the liquid dinosaur bones in the tank, It is the most useless object you own. Do you have a bicycle repair kit? Do you have good walking shoes? Do you know the map of your city by heart? Because if the pumps run dry, your world shrinks to the distance your feet can carry you. The refinery shutdown proves that we didn't just drive cars, we lived inside a machine, powered by explosion. When the explosions stop, the machine stops, and we are left standing on the road, looking for a way home. Tell me in the comments, if you couldn't drive your car starting tomorrow, how would you get food? I'll see you in the comments, saving my energy for the long walk to the market.